Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Richard Miller. It is a pleasure to have you here with me today. If you have ever felt that familiar nagging heaviness in your legs by the end of the afternoon, or if you have noticed that your steps don't feel quite as steady or as snappy as they did 10 years ago, listen closely because I want you to hear something important right from the start. You're not just getting older, there's a real physiological shift happening inside you, a gradual change in how efficiently your blood moves through your lower body that touches everything from your energy levels to how comfortably you can move through your day. I see this every single week in my practice. Good, active people who have worked hard their whole lives suddenly find themselves cutting walks short, avoiding stairs, or saying no to playing with their grandchildren because their legs just feel worn out. They tell me they have simply accepted it as the price of a life well lived. But I'm here to tell you with real conviction that while none of us can stop time, we can absolutely do a far better job of supporting the internal systems that keep you independent, active, and confident. Today, I want to talk with you about one simple, often overlooked shift you can make in your daily routine that centers around a humble fruit most of us already have in our kitchens. This is not some miracle cure, and it will not rewind the calendar to your 30s, but it goes straight to the root of why so many folks over 60 deal with that heavy, tired leg feeling every single day. Once you understand the straightforward science behind it, I believe you're going to look at that fruit bowl on your counter in a completely new way. And more importantly, you might just feel a spark of hope that you have not felt in a long time. Let us talk honestly about what is really happening in your legs. When we pass the age of 60, the conversation usually centers on muscle loss. We worry about sarcopenia, we buy resistance bands, and we try to stay strong. All of that matters, but there's a silent partner in the background that rarely gets discussed, and that partner is your venous system. Think of your veins as the hard-working return highway that carries blood back up from your feet to your heart against the constant pull of gravity. Over decades, those vessel walls lose some of their natural spring. The tiny valves inside them do not close quite as efficiently. Blood begins to pool just a little, especially after you have been on your feet for a while. That pooling creates the heaviness, the dull ache, the subtle swelling around the ankles, and that overall sense that your legs just will not cooperate the way they used to. It is not dramatic at first. You might not even notice it until one day you realize you're choosing the elevator instead of the stairs without even thinking about it. The real issue goes even deeper than the larger veins. It involves the microcirculation, that intricate web of the tiniest vessels feeding oxygen and nutrients to your muscle, tissue, and skin. When that network loses tone, everything downstream suffers. Your muscles fatigue faster, your joints ache more, even your energy for the things you love begins to fade. I cannot tell you how many times patients have sat in my office and said, "Doc, I thought this was just old age." And every time I gently remind them that while aging is real, the degree of discomfort we accept is often negotiable. Many of the common beliefs we hold about this problem actually hold us back. People assume the only answer is to move more, and movement is absolutely essential. But it is like trying to run a marathon with a garden hose that has tiny leaks all along its length. You can push through for a while, but eventually the system cannot keep up. What we need is a way to support the actual tone and resilience of those vessel walls themselves. In my years of clinical practice, I have watched patients spend small fortunes on compression stockings, horse chestnut supplements, and various over-the-counter remedies without addressing the core issue. The missing link is often specific bioflavonoids that our modern diets have quietly moved away from, particularly those found in citrus fruit. When I speak about oranges, I'm talking about two remarkable compounds, hesperidin and diosmin. These are what scientists call venotonic flavonoids. They have been studied for decades in concentrated medical forms. You may have heard of something called micronized purified flavonoid fraction, or MPFF. This is essentially a pharmaceutical-grade extract of the very same compounds found in oranges. The research on these concentrated forms is genuinely impressive. Multiple clinical trials have shown reductions in leg heaviness, throbbing and swelling by 42 to 58% in many patients. That is not just a number on a chart. That is a grandmother being able to stand long enough to bake cookies with her grandchildren. That is a retired man getting back to his vegetable garden without having to sit down every 20 minutes. Those are real, meaningful changes in daily life. Now, I want to be completely straight with you because I have built my reputation on honesty. Eating a fresh orange every day is not identical to taking a high-dose clinical extract. You will not get the exact same dramatic turnaround that some patients experience with prescription-grade flavonoids, but here's what you will get. A steady, gentle, consistent supply of the exact building blocks your veins need to maintain better tone and better microcirculation day after day. You are nourishing the same biological pathways that the medical studies target. And when you do that consistently, the results can be remarkable, especially when you combine it with the other sensible habits we will talk about. Let me share a few stories with you because I have learned that numbers never land quite as well as real human experience. I had a patient named Harold, a 72-year-old retired mail carrier who had walked every day of his working life. After retirement, his legs began to feel like they weighed 50 pounds each by mid-afternoon. He stopped his daily neighborhood walks. He gave up volunteering at the local food bank because standing for 2 hours became too painful. Harold was skeptical when I suggested focusing first on citrus flavonoids and gentle circulation support before jumping into aggressive exercise. We talked about eating the whole orange, pith and all. We added a few other supportive habits. Within 10 weeks, Harold told me he had walked to the end of his street and back without stopping for the first time in 2 years. The look on his face when he described it told me everything. He was not cured, but he had gotten a meaningful piece of his life back. Then there was Margaret, 68, who loved nothing more than taking her 4 grandchildren to the park. The swelling in her ankles had gotten so bad she was embarrassed to wear anything but loose trousers. She worried the grandkids would notice her discomfort and stop asking her to come along. We focused on daily citrus intake, proper hydration, and learning how to elevate her legs in the evening while she read to them. She began blending whole oranges into morning smoothies so she would not miss the beneficial white pith. 6 months later, Margaret sent me a photo of her at the park pushing 2 of the children on swings. Her legs were not perfect, but they were good enough. That is the standard I want for you, not perfect, good enough to keep living the life you want. I remember another gentleman, Robert, who had been an avid golfer. 9 holes had become his limit because of the heaviness and cramping in his calves. He was devastated at the thought of giving up the game that had been his social outlet and his source of joy for 30 years. We rebuilt his foundation with consistent citrus flavonoids, better hydration, and a very gradual walking program that started with just 10 minutes. The improved circulation gave him the confidence to move more. The more he moved, the stronger his legs became. Last summer, he played 18 holes again. Not as fast as before, but with a smile on his face that his wife told me had been missing for years. The practical part is simpler than you might expect, and that is what I love about this approach. Most people throw away the very part of the orange that contains the highest concentration of these beneficial flavonoids. That white spongy layer called the pith is loaded with hesperidin. I know it can be a little bitter and the texture takes some getting used to, but your veins do not care about taste, they care about the compounds. If eating it whole feels too challenging at first, try blending the entire orange, zest, pith and all into a smoothie with a banana, some spinach, and a spoonful of almond butter. The healthy fat actually helps your body absorb the flavonoids better. You can also grate orange zest over your morning oatmeal or yogurt. You can slice oranges thin and bake them into a simple tea cake that keeps the fiber intact. The goal is to stop thinking of oranges as an occasional treat and start seeing them as daily circulatory support. 1 substantial citrus fruit per day is my usual recommendation for patients. Pair it with a few walnuts or a little olive oil to enhance absorption. Think of it like taking your blood pressure medication. It works best when it is consistent, not sporadic. Consistency truly is everything. If you eat an orange once every 10 days, you're not giving your veins the steady supply of compounds they need to make meaningful repairs. This is a long-term relationship with your body. The flavonoids work by gently strengthening the connective tissue and vessel walls, supporting healthy inflammation levels, and helping those tiny valves function more efficiently. It is not dramatic like a lightning bolt. It is more like the quiet, steady work of rebuilding a bridge 1 steel beam at a time. I also want to address something. Many of you may be thinking, is it too late for me? The beautiful truth is that your body remains remarkably responsive even into your 70s and 80s. The circulatory system still has repair mechanisms. They simply need the right raw materials and the right encouragement. When you improve venous tone and microcirculation, you remove the invisible brake that has been holding your activity level back. You stop dreading that afternoon fatigue. You start feeling the natural urge to move again. That movement builds muscle. Stronger muscles support your joints. Better joints mean more confidence. It becomes a wonderful upward spiral that touches every part of your life. There are other supportive habits that work beautifully alongside your daily citrus practice. Staying well hydrated helps thin the blood so it flows more easily. Reducing excessive salt can decrease fluid retention. Gentle walking, even if it is just around your living room at first, activates the natural muscle pump in your calves that helps push blood upward. Elevating your legs for 15 minutes in the evening while you watch television or read can make a surprising difference. None of these things are complicated, but when you stack them together with consistent flavonoid intake, the results compound. I want you to take a moment right now and think about one activity you have quietly given up because your legs did not feel up to it. Maybe it is dancing with your spouse in the kitchen. Maybe it is tending your flower beds. Maybe it is simply standing long enough to sing in the church choir. Whatever it is, I want you to picture yourself doing that thing again, even if it is in a smaller way. At first, start with the next 10 steps, not the entire mountain. Add that orange to your breakfast tomorrow. Take a short walk after lunch. Elevate your legs while you watch the evening news. Small, consistent actions create the momentum that leads to meaningful change. The hidden truth I have seen proven again and again in my patients is that your body is still on your side. It has not given up on you. It is simply waiting for the right inputs. You do not need to become a triathlete. You only need to become a consistent, caring steward of the body you have been given. When you do that, you often discover energy and freedom you thought had disappeared forever. One more thing before we finish. If you're dealing with persistent pain, significant swelling that does not improve with elevation, skin changes, or wounds that heal slowly, please do not try to manage this entirely on your own. Those can be signs of more advanced venous insufficiency that deserves a proper medical evaluation. Part of being kind to yourself is knowing when to bring in professional help. I say this not to scare you, but to protect you. For most of you watching today, however, the message is one of genuine hope. The simple addition of whole citrus fruit, eaten consistently with attention to the pith and peel, can become a foundational habit that supports your circulation for years to come. It is affordable, it is accessible, it tastes good, and it works with your body instead of against it. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Have you noticed changes in your leg comfort when you increased your citrus intake? Do you have a favorite way to eat the whole orange so the pith does not feel overwhelming? Maybe you have a smoothie recipe that makes this easy and delicious. Share it. Your experience might be exactly what helps the person watching who feels like they are running out of options. This community is stronger when we learn from each other. If this video gave you a sense of possibility, please consider sharing it with a friend or family member who has been complaining about tired legs. Sometimes the smallest evidence-based nudge is all someone needs to take that first step toward feeling better. Thank you for spending this time with me. I do not take it for granted. I know there are 1,000 things competing for your attention, and the fact that you chose to listen to an old doctor talk about oranges and veins means a great deal. Remember that taking care of your circulation is one of the kindest things you can do for your future self. Every orange you eat, every mindful walk you take, every evening you elevate your legs is a vote for a more active, engaged, and independent version of yourself. You have more power than you realize. Your body is listening. Give it the support it needs. Be patient with the process and stay committed. The years ahead can still be filled with gardens to tend, grandchildren to chase, dances in the kitchen, and quiet, satisfying walks at sunset. I believe that for you. I really do. Stay curious about what your body can still do. Stay consistent in the small daily habits that matter. And above all, stay kind to yourself in the process. This is Dr. Richard Miller signing off. I will see you in the next video, my friend. Take care and keep moving forward, one steady step at a time.